Hi everyone, so welcome back. So for this lesson, there's just a really quick review, and then we're going to move forward with some final concepts that we think will really help you in your job search. So competencies, remember, are used to identify the bundles of knowledge, skills, and abilities that come together to form the basis of the behaviors most desired in a job candidate for a particular job. And, they are, in essence, used to attract, screen, identify, and ultimately hire candidates, which, of course, is the most important piece. So let's look at these specific examples of how employers use competencies to accomplish this task. And one such is competency-based job descriptions. The next is competency-based interviews. And finally, behavioral-based interviews. So let's look first at what happens in companies before the job is even posted. So how do companies write job descriptions? It seems sort of mysterious at times. And we're telling you this again because knowing where the organization is coming from helps you understand how you should align with the position. And we've hinted at it a little bit with respect to the discussion of our key words. You'll recall that lesson. So we know organizations identify desired competencies. It's done by naming observable behaviors and traits and generating what's actually working already in their organizations, what behaviors lead to success, what they wish to duplicate or replicate in their employees. They always have star employees, so who do we want to hire? That's like this star employee that's really contributing. And then from these identified behaviors, job descriptions are generated, and they are competency-based job descriptions. So traditional job descriptions, just to kind of give it a little bit of a juxtaposition, they focus on what you do. And a competency-based job description focuses certainly on what you'll do, but then adds to that by mapping the preferred behaviors and attributes of good and higher performers that a company is better able to pinpoint and describe the basic and preferred qualities. So it's sort of the difference between the two, and it'll give you a sense of what to look for. Okay, so what happens if you have the opportunity to interview, which would be great, and then what might you expect from that? So again, we can imagine that within each organization, there are outstanding performers. There are these role models for success. And interviewers have those role models in their head as you sit before them and do your own interview. So based on these best practices, organizations have named these competencies that are meaningful and important, and then behaviors are important, they're documentable, they're identifiable, and quantifiable. So they want to replicate them and to which they wish to add. And that might be where you come in. You might be the addition, and you might be the person they wish to replicate. And then remember, too, the researcher David McClellan suggested that competencies were, in fact, the best predictor of how an employee would actually perform on the job. Competency-based interviews are structured to evaluate these key desired competencies. So the interviews are often framed to extrapolate how those behaviors might look under certain circumstances. And they're often case-based. So, for example, a leading question might be, tell us what you would do in this scenario, X scenario. So it uses a candidate's description of his or her past behavior. So what have you done in the past, in past jobs, in previous positions, to determine how you might approach a similar situation on a potential job as a prospective employee. And then it will then give an employer a good sense of how your strengths add to an organization, where the organization might be able to develop the candidate, even to take on other leadership positions. So it isn't necessarily even always where you are, but also where the organization imagines they can develop you and take you. So that's another key point. We've also reviewed and we've noticed the importance of understanding how employers use competencies to decide what positions to fill and who they will hire. And we certainly want that person to be you. So what have we learned? We've reviewed and noted the importance of understanding how employers use competencies to decide what positions to fill and who they will hire. We've looked at competency-based job descriptions, we've looked at competency-based interviews and behavioral-based interviews. And of course we want that person they hire to be you. So we always wish you the best of luck in this endeavor, and thank you for joining us for this week. Take care.